It wasn't pretty, but a win's a win. The Boston Celtics do secure Game 4 in the Cleveland area, 109-102, without Donovan Mitchell. I know what you're saying. This score is kind of crazy without having Donovan Mitchell, but a lot of players, role players for the Cleveland Cavaliers, did step up, but the Celtics responded. This was their first postseason win with less than 10 points. It's either been a blowout or they've been blown out, so it was nice to see the Celtics really being taken down to the wire here and seeing how they respond. And obviously, they still have enough resources, even without Kristaps Porzingis, to get the job done. But here on this video, we are going to be breaking down Kristaps Porzingis injury updates, along with our live reactions to the Game 4 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. With that being said, I do want you guys to go on ahead and hit that sub button for me. Everybody that joined our watch party was phenomenal in helping out our subscriber list, but go on ahead and hit that sub button if you guys want every single live post-game and real-time reaction here for the Boston Celtics. Plus, we do post about 5 to 6 videos a week talking about your favorite Boston Celtics. But like I said, let's go on ahead and get into what needs to be discussed, and of course, that is going to be Kristaps Porzingis injury update. It's been a little bit quiet here around Game 2 and Game 3 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers about Kristaps Porzingis and how he's been rehabbing. But Joe Mazzulla and a lot of media members for the Boston Celtics did finally see Kristaps back in action. These pictures were taken ahead of Game 4 in Cleveland, and we were shown Kristaps Porzingis moving smooth around shoot-around. In fact, Noah Dalzell, who I do adore, who are reporting here for the Boston Celtics, said that Kristaps Porzingis put up about 15 minutes for the shoot-around, and he seemed to be very at ease getting these shots up. They were very mid-range. They were just slight jumpers. There was no, Kristaps Porzingis trick shots or taking anybody down low, but KP does seem to be moving in the right direction to return. Will he return for the Cleveland Cavaliers series? I highly doubt it, and personally, I don't even think I would rush him back into this series, knowing that whether it's going to be the Pacers or the Knicks, it's going to be a tough Eastern Conference Finals. But like I said, KP was not seen doing anything fancy, just working on some post-ups and some pick and rolls, really not even some three-point shooting just yet. But it's good to see that he is trying his hardest to come back as soon as he can. And just if he can get those routine moves back down to a T, I'm okay with that. But just in case you guys need to know, KP is still getting work in through his rehab, and his teammates have his full support during this process. Derrick White, who we all know and love, said he's been working the whole time, and it's always great to see him. We got his music playing on the court, which, according to reports, he does always request Bad Bunny when he is warming up. Hopefully it helps him heal faster. It's always great to have him around, and we know he's doing everything he can to get back as quickly and as safely as possible. As safely as possible is really key here, just because you don't want KP to come back any earlier than he's expected to, because the calf is not something to mess around with. You saw what happened to Joe Burrow in the NFL. You see what happened with Giannis Antetokounmpo 3 weeks ahead of Kristaps Porzingis' injury. So the fact that he has his teammates' encouragement, and the fact that the Celtics are stepping up in KP's absence to take a 3-1 lead over the Cavaliers means the world, to know that the Celtics have his back. Not just his teammates, but also his coach, as Joe Mazzulla did give an injury update on Kristaps Porzingis ahead of Game 4. I haven't watched any of his rehab, but he's working hard and he's trying to get back. He's made better steps. All I know that he's working really hard to try and get back as fast as he can. That is his timeline right now, to get back as fast as he can. I'm sorry it's not an exact date. I'm sorry it's not an exact amount of days until he plays again, but as fast as he can is what I'm going to go off of. And I do believe, with just from warm-ups that I've seen and the way that he's progressing, which personally I see that he is progressing a little bit better than Giannis was 3 weeks ahead of the injury Kristaps sustained, because they did have the same exact injury. I suspect he will be back for the Eastern Conference Finals, and it looks like from the series the Knicks and Pacers are having tied 2-2. Doesn't matter who we play in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be a fight, and I would love to have KP back in there for that series. But what do you expect? When do you expect, the return of Kristaps Porzingis. Do you think it's going to be by a possible Game 6 or Game 7 versus Cleveland? Hopefully it doesn't go that far. Maybe an Eastern Conference Finals, or hopefully not the NBA Finals. We do hope the Celtics are there, but we do hope Kristaps helps us get us there as well. So we're going to be breaking down our thought process during Game 4 versus Cleveland, and if this is going to impact how the Celtics do get to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals, and when we'll see Kristaps Porzingis play once again. But before we hop into that, I do want to ask you guys to go on ahead and check out Prize Picks for me. Our sponsor here on Celtics Today. I play it every single game day along with Smitty, along with everybody in America. That's why it's the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And what's super great is they have a ton of celebrities right now. They're actually putting in their season-long WNBA picks, including ESPN's very own Stephen A. Smith. So if you don't want to play mine or Smitty's or anybody else's, you can actually go to the promos tab of Prize Picks, and you can go on ahead and play along with some of the world's biggest celebrities and see how they're picking. But I almost can guarantee that they're taking this huge discount for Caitlin Clark's WNBA regular season debut. 1 point equals 1 win. If you think Caitlin Clark's going to have more than half a point, you will win. It's that easy. No gimmicks, no wraparounds. That is how easy it is. Plus, it's even easier just to go on ahead and click more or less on a player's projected stat types, which is what I did for the game tonight. Evan Mobley, unfortunately, had 3 points in the first quarter. Drew Holiday, fortunately, had 10 points in the first half. So I didn't pick the best picks here tonight, but you guys can test your skills. See if you're better than me. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. I promise you, it is that easy. A lot easier than the Celtics had the opportunity to win this ball game. Holy crap, Smitty. I do not know when my confidence kicked in to be like, oh yeah, the Celtics got this one. It was a battle through and through, and unfortunately, I think, Smitty, the Celtics made this a lot harder on themselves than it needed to be.
Yeah, absolutely did. You look at the stats here. Jayson Tatum pretty much putting up an identical stat line to what he did in Game 3. But, man, he looked good for a lot of the game. He had 16, I believe, in the first quarter, 23 in the first half. But the offense kind of stagnated there in the second half. You saw Cleveland not give up the entire last 24 minutes of this ball game. And that resulted in the Celtics' first clutch time minutes of this postseason so far. That means 5-point game or less with 5 minutes or less to go. And the Celtics found themselves in a dogfight with Cleveland's role players plus Darius Garland. And Jayson Tatum, along with Jaylen Brown, who, let's be honest, combined for 60, we wouldn't be here without them.
No.
But they were taking not great shots down the stretch of this ball game. I mean, Jaylen Brown had a foul overturned because he's kicking his leg out on a contested mid-range jumper. Jayson Tatum trying to hit dagger threes. A
technical.
Both of them are getting pretty hot with the referees. So they weren't just focusing on moving the ball around and forcing into the paint when there was foul trouble for the Cleveland Cavs, like Darius Garland with 4 and Max Strus with 4 and then 5. He didn't foul out until the end of the basically last 2 minutes of the ball game. Yeah. But I'd say it was pretty wrapped up. But Darius Garland didn't have a foul pretty much the entire midway through the third to all the way through the end of the fourth quarter. So they didn't attack the paint. They didn't attack mismatches. And it just goes to show that if they don't do that, if they don't play smart, at the end of the day, they're going to let teams like this get back in the fold.
I thought it was going to be a lot different this game without Donovan Mitchell because they did come out very hot, the Cleveland Cavaliers did. The first TV timeout that Joe Mazzulla decided to take, the Cavs had an 8-2 lead. They came immediately out of the timeout, started scoring threes, started really playing defense, making better passes, and I'm like, there's the Boston Celtics that we know. But the fact they didn't have Donovan Mitchell allowed players like Darius Garland and Isaac Okoro to step up, and it was insane. The Celtics seemed to have no response to Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Okoro, Max Strus when they have been trying.
Strus in the first half was crazy.
But this was only first half.
Yeah.
This was only first half.
You did limit him in the second half. I will give the Celtics that.
So they made him miss 4 threes, which was very helpful, but the fact that you're really clamping up Donovan Mitchell would be holding him to about 25 points. We know Donovan Mitchell knows how to score, but we saw tonight Darius Garland can absolutely handle this load if Donovan Mitchell weren't to return.
Yeah.
The Cavs outshot the Celtics from the three-point line which was so frustrating to watch because how many times, Smitty, have we said, take more shots from the three than your opponent does? We got outshot.
You did. They made more threes because they took a ton more.
A ton.
48 triple attempts. And the Celtics, I guess, did try to keep up with it, but they only ended up with 32. That's not even, is that even their average? So, like, at the end of the day, in this modern NBA, there is 3-point variance. If you take more threes, you will inevitably make more threes, and then the opponent has to be playing catch-up, trying to catch up to your, you hitting buckets that are worth more than 2. It's simple math at the end of the day. So the Celtics didn't really go with their peppering 3-point volume today, and the Cavs were able to stay in this game because of it. Now the Celtics did out-rebound the Cavs by a ton because the Cavs had a ton of possessions. They took a ton of shots. But at the end of the day, the Celtics did prevail. Really bad game offensively down the stretch because you look at it, 15 assists to 38 made baskets. They resulted back to their ISO. They tried to win this game solely off of talent. And that's just not going to work when you're playing the likes of an Indiana Pacers who are super deep and they have great chemistry.
Right.
Or the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets, the Dallas Mavericks, the OKC Thunder. These teams are concise and they won't make the mistakes. They won't have the limitations that this Cleveland team does. You have to be better.
And I do want to point out 2 things the box score won't show you. There were several runs that the Cavaliers had where the Celtics had no answer. They went on an 8-0 run. They went on a 12-0 run. They went on a 15-0 run, and that can't happen. And another aspect that the box score won't show you is that the Celtics actually dominated when it came to free throws. They did shoot 87%, but listen to this. They went 21 of 24 from the free throw line. The Cavs went 5 for 7. Majority, 21 points of that 109 came from the free throw line. And I know you can also use this as a pro.
Yeah, I'll give the Celtics credit. They got to the line.
100%.
They were taking it to the basket, and that just shows how big of a disparity it was from three-pointers to taking it to the basket.
I'm not necessarily looking at it at an offensive standpoint, though. You allowed the Cavs to score 197 points, and 5 of those were free throws.
Yeah.
And the defense has to be better because you know it came from the 3-point line.
Agreed.
With having the Cavaliers only shooting 7 free throws means you left them wide open or allowing them to make contested shots from anywhere around the court. Did they struggle down low? Yes. Other than Evan Mobley, they did. Darius Garland, the second half, did start to find his rhythm driving, but that was also more towards the last 3 minutes of the ball game where Garland was just pissed and trying to score as much as he can. But the fact that your defense allowed them to score 95 points without a free throw is tough.
Now, I know we're acting crazy after a win. We seem like Debbie Downers right now, but at the end of the day, the Celtics haven't played a perfect game yet, and this is a roster that they should have taken care of easily in this game without Donovan Mitchell. I know that their defensive game plan was to limit Donovan Mitchell, and they didn't know that he wasn't going to play. But at the end of the day, you got to take care of a team that's miles less talented than you.
It is, and it makes me frustrated because we've already seen this in Game 1. When you won 120-95, and I'm not saying you're going to blow out a team every single night. I would be honestly amazed if you did that and swept the Cavaliers. But taking this down to the wire without NBA All-Star Donovan Mitchell is a little concerning. Maybe not so much for this series, but definitely moving forward in the playoffs because you do have to stay present and look to your future all the time in the NBA postseason. So, unfortunately, Smitty, I'm going to give them a B.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a B.
I'm honestly going to – I'd even go lower. I say B-, C+ performance tonight by the Celtics.
Not as tough as you.
Yeah. I'm harsh tonight. I wish that they just coasted through this game. We're able to sit starters. I know it's maybe advantageous to see a clutch time situation, but I didn't want to see it against a roster built like this without Donovan Mitchell playing.
That was unfortunate. I wanted a blowout without Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. I did, but
they're going back to Boston, Game 5, closeout game. Let's leave no doubt here and take care of the Cavs and await the opponent that we'll face between the winner of the New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers.
Can the Boston Celtics beat the Miami Heat in 5 games and the Cleveland Cavaliers in 5 games? We're going to find out here on Wednesday. But in the meantime, what do the Celtics need to do to finish this series? Is it defend the three ball better? Is it to drive more? Is it to work on off-ball movement? There are several areas the Boston Celtics can get better. Why don't you guys be Joe Mazzulla and tell us down below? While you guys are at it, hit that sub button for me. That's the only way you guys are going to be able to interact with us on our live stream on Wednesday for Game 5. All you have to do, we'll do all the work, is hit that sub button for us.